welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do something a little bit different because I did not have enough time this week to film like a normal video to put up on Wednesday like I've been trying to do. It just didn't work out with my husband's schedule, but right now I have just a few minutes before I head to my boot camp class, and so I wanted to film the assumptions about me video that I asked on Insta stories. So a few of you sent in questions and I wanted to answer those really fast, but I'm gonna get as in-depth as I can because I know that's what you're looking for. And hopefully this setup is okay. I thought it would just be like sitting down with a friend in my living room and talking to you. So let's just jump right into the questions. Yeah, they're not questions, they are assumptions about me. So I will be telling you whether you are true or whether you're false. The first two assumptions I got were actually the exact same. The first one says, I think your husband is your high school sweetheart. I think that would be a fun story. And also that you and your hubby are high school sweethearts. We are actually not high school sweethearts. That would be a really fun story, and I feel like we've been together forever. But we are not high school sweethearts because we did not go to high school together. He is actually almost 7 years older than me. So if I would have dated him while I was in high school, it would have been illegal. And we actually kind of knew of each other for many years, but we had never met in person. He was actually a family friend, and we actually met in person for the first time. I think I was a junior in college. Well, it was right before my senior year of college. So that's when we actually met in person and started dating. But I actually knew of him, like who he was. I'd heard his name when I was in high school. But the story that we tell that like puts into perspective how far apart we are in age. I know 7 years is not that much now, but back then how far apart it would have been is on 9/11. He recalls that day. He can tell you where he was, and he was in his college class on campus. I, however, was in my 8th grade class in middle school. So that tells you how far apart in age we were in like school years. So we definitely were not high school sweethearts. The next one is, I'm hoping that every once in a while you cuss. Haha, I know I do. Yes, I definitely cuss every once in a while. I have a word of choice that's been really hard to break since I've had kids. It starts with shh. And it's been really hard for me to break since I've had kids. It's just the word that I go to when I drop something, when I touch something hot, when I stub my toe, when I'm really mad. But I also try not to cuss a lot. I hope that doesn't make me sound too much like a prude. I mean, it does come out and I do cuss some, but I really try not to, especially because it is hard to differentiate between when you're with your kids and without, and it'll end up slipping out when you're around your kids, and I just don't want to bring them up to talk that way. As far as people who like cuss around me a little bit, I don't mind. Now, people that cuss just to cuss, I don't know if they think it sounds cool, but to me it makes them sound really unintelligent. It makes them sound very needy for attention. I can't stand to be around somebody who inserts a cuss word and you can tell it's forced, like they're doing it just to cuss, just because, I don't know, it's the thing to do. I don't really understand that, but I'm definitely not perfect. I do cuss on occasion, but I did also want to add that I try not to. The next assumption is you want a big family, 1 or 2 more kids, and that is exactly right. We would love to have 2 more kids. Now, if you'd have asked us years ago how many kids we wanted, we would have both said 2. My husband comes from a family of 2 kids, him and a sister, and then my family also is me and a younger brother. So we've come from 2-kid families both, and that's what we said we wanted. But then all of that changed when we ran into our infertility problems, and right now we have 2 kids, both from IVF. Kaylee and Mason were both conceived with IVF, and we have 2 more frozen embryos left that we are going to try. So we froze all of the embryos that we could. It ended up being 5 total. The first one did not take. Then there was Kaylee, Mason, and we have 2 more left, and we will be trying both of those. So we never intended for a big family, but infertility will definitely change your outlook on that. And now we would be so blessed to have a huge family. And hopefully, I mean, we obviously hope that both of those embryos take and we have all 4 children. Now, the next assumption I have seen come up in every assumption video that I have watched, and I've watched quite a few because I find them really entertaining, but that one is that you're rich. So if you want your cheesy answer, I mean your answer that I have a loving husband, we have 2 beautiful children, we have our health, we have wonderful families and a great support system, then yes, we are definitely rich. But I'm pretty sure that you weren't referring to that. I'm pretty sure you want like the lowdown, the scoop on our financial situation. And these assumption videos apparently are a great way to ask that without being rude. So I would not consider us rich, but the true answer is that we are probably considered upper middle class is what our classification would be. But you know what the other thing about being rich is that it's all subjective. We live comfortably. Like, we don't struggle to pay our bills. We don't live way outside of our means because we want to look like we have money. We don't struggle with that. We're very comfortable, but we're not rich in that we can just go on trips all the time and we can't go buy a new car every year. And you know, being rich is just so subjective to each person. Some people think, oh, you're rich because you can pay all of your bills and at the end of the week you still have money to go to Chili's and eat a dinner with your family, and you can buy both kids their own meal. They don't have to share. Or oh, you can afford to go to the movies once a month with your husband and buy candy and popcorn. I mean, that crap is expensive. So to some people, that is considered being rich. And then to other people, they would look at me and say, she's not rich. She doesn't drive a Range Rover. She doesn't go on a trip every few months. You don't have a house in Aspen or a beach condo in Florida. I don't know anybody that doesn't have 2 houses. There are actually people rich, like people rich enough to say those things and be like, you don't have very much money. So it's all subjective from each person. But I mean, your true and honest answer is that we're comfortable, upper middle class family. I'm definitely very grateful for all that we have, and I don't take for granted that we can just go out to eat and we're not pinching pennies and eating ramen, or even just we're able to go out on a date and go to a nice restaurant and just splurge every so often. And we do take a vacation every year to the beach. So I guess I'll just stop there because I feel like I'm rambling, but I hope that that kind of answered your assumption and maybe kind of what you were wanting to hear about that. Now the next one is, I assume this isn't for people who have known you since grade school. No, Lauren, it is not. You are sworn to secrecy because I hold all of your deep, dark secrets as well. I assume that you're from the South, from a Southern accent to another. Yes, girl, I cannot hide that. I couldn't hide the Southern accent if I wanted to, but I am from Texas, and specifically from Northeast Texas, and our closest big city in Texas is Dallas. So I was born and raised in Texas, and hence the very thick accent. The next one, I bet you are a sorority girl like me. Now, I definitely see where you could assume that. I could see fitting in now with a sorority type group, but I was not a sorority girl in college. And I think one of the main reasons being is that I was just very shy. And the thought of like putting myself out there to join a group who had to accept me was very intimidating. That wasn't really my thing, like the group of girls. Like, I didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't make friends that easily. And looking back now, I mean, hindsight's 2020. It would have been a great way for me to make friends since I had trouble making friends. But I was honestly just too shy to join a sorority, so that was not my thing. I was just really quiet and kept to myself a lot of times. I assume that you are sweet and thoughtful, and if I ever ran into you in real life, we would be BFFs. Thank you so much. It really makes me feel so good that you assume that I am sweet and thoughtful. It's definitely what I want to be putting out into the world. So for somebody to get that from me, I'm just really thankful that that is what you're getting from me, because that is what I want to put out and the type of personality I'd like to have. And we would definitely be BFFs. I love that. I love this space because you feel like you're friends with all these people, and we just share an interest in things and just lift each other up. I do wish that I got to travel more just so I could meet more of you in real life. If I ever got like a huge following, you know, you hear them say, oh, I'm going to be doing a meetup, but we have to find someplace to have it that's big enough. Well, I feel like I wish that I could travel a lot now because I don't have a huge following of subscribers. So I could just be like, hey, I'm going to X city next month. If you live somewhere near there, let's just meet up and hang out and go shop at Sephora and eat Chick-fil-A and then go shop at Target. I would think that would be so much fun just to meet y'all in real life and just hang out one-on-one. That would be the best. These were 2 assumptions put together, and they're really random at like different ends of the spectrum. But the first one is that you don't have pets and you taught yourself about YouTube videos / channels. So to answer the first one, no, we do not currently have any pets. We did have a black lab, and unfortunately he passed away when I was pregnant with Kaylee. Actually, we had to put him down when I was pregnant with Kaylee, so you can imagine just the waterworks that came with that. We came home and he was shaking. He was very ill. He was like 13 or 14 years old, very, very old, and there was just clearly something very wrong with him, so we loaded him up. I'm already bawling at this point. We loaded him up, took him to the vet. There was nothing that they could do. We needed to get him out of the pain that he was in. So my pregnant heart could not handle this. I could not be in there with them. My husband was in there with them when they put him down, but I had to stand outside and I was just bawling. That was a rough day. We missed him so much because we wanted more than anything. I'm gonna tear up. We wanted more than anything for him to meet our daughter when she was born and for her to grow up with the dog that we love so much. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. We just kind of keep having kids. So in between each kid, we're like, I don't want another newborn, and puppies are like newborns. So it hasn't worked out to where we've gotten another dog yet, but I think eventually we definitely will. We want our kids to have a childhood dog. But right now, both Kaylee and Mason are scared of dogs. Now, I know that would be different if they were to get one and we need to like bring them up with a dog, but it's really hard at the same time when your kids are terrified, like to bring home a puppy. I think at our next house, we're gonna have a fenced in yard, and so it'll be much easier. Right now, we kind of live out in the country. There's no fence around our backyard or front yard. It'd be easy for them to run off. So hopefully in the next house, we'll be able to get a dog for the kids. And you taught yourself about YouTube videos / channels. Yes, I am definitely self-taught. When I got this assumption, I thought back to when I was doing all the research to start my YouTube channel, and I did so much research, so much Googling, so much watching videos about lighting and cameras and where to sit in the room, where to put the lighting. I already knew like the type of content I wanted to do because it's the type of content that I love to watch, and it's the type of thing that I wanted for my creative outlet. But as a little fun fact, I actually started out with a blog. I knew that I wanted a creative outlet. I needed some type of creative outlet for the stuff that I love and I wanted to share with you. So I started a blog, but I quickly realized that we just did not have enough time to put out content almost daily, which you have to on a blog. My husband was my photographer and he just didn't have the time. So I immediately thought, well, I love YouTube videos and he doesn't have to be there to shoot the YouTube video. I set up a tripod. It just has to be me and the camera. And so that worked out so much better as far as he didn't have to carve out an hour or two of his time in order to photograph me, but I could sit with a camera for an hour and shoot a video. So that's how I actually ended up starting YouTube. But yes, I did all the research on my own. I still really want to improve my videos. Like, I'm such a perfectionist. I just haven't figured it all out, and most people don't. There's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes. I have a lot more learning to do, but hopefully I'm just going to keep improving quality of content and video quality as I go on. I assumed that we would be best friends in person. Love your bubbly personality. Yes, I already addressed this one. I forgot to group the two together, but like I said, I consider you all my friends and I would love to hang out in real life. And thank you so much. I hope that I am upbeat and positive. If you watch Vlogmas, you know I'm definitely not always upbeat and positive, but I definitely want to be a bright part of your day when I come on here onto YouTube, talk about something lighthearted and just, you know, have fun in this space on YouTube. I assume you were voted a most likely to in high school. That's actually really funny. I was actually voted most studious in high school, which is really funny to me because I never studied. School just came really easy. College did not come easy. I didn't do the best in college, but high school came really easy to me, and so I never studied. I don't know how I got voted most studious, but I did get voted something, but it was something that was way off. Apparently people assumed I was studious, but I really wasn't. I assume you are a stay-at-home mom. Yes, I am a stay-at-home mom. This is my dream job. This is what I've always wanted to do. I've never been very career-minded. I've always wanted to stay at home with my babies, and I feel so fortunate that I am doing just that. She also said, you used to live in the South, not Texas, but the southern states like Georgia, South Carolina, on and on. I do live in the South, but I do live in Texas, and I have a bone to pick with you. Texas is definitely the South. It is like the southernmost state in the middle of the entire United States. But I'm just messing with you. I totally understand what you're saying, but I was born and raised in Texas, and I actually live about an hour from where I was born and raised. So I never went very far. I still live in a small rural part of Texas and never left. All right, we have 2 more assumptions, and it is time for me to leave for my boot camp class. Believe it or not, I actually read these in order. I didn't leave like the 2 ones that I didn't want to elaborate on for last. This is actually like the last 2 ones that came in. But this person says, don't mean this in a bad way, but that you've had an easy life. And I totally understand where you don't want that to be taken the wrong way if you didn't mean it in a bad way. But you are actually correct. I have had an easy life. And I'm grateful for the life that I've had. If we start out like at childhood, we did not grow up with money, but I never wanted for anything. I mean, we always had exactly what we needed. I had a wonderful childhood. I had so much fun. We had a very simple childhood, which now, living in this day and age, I can so appreciate the very simple childhood that we had. My dad worked very hard to provide for us. My mom was a stay-at-home mom as well. And my dad worked so hard, and he did such a great job of making sure that we didn't go without anything. Speaking of my parents, they are still married to this day, so I feel like we had an easy life and that we didn't come from a broken family, and that we had loving parents, and that we didn't have to go through them divorcing. And so I feel like, that's considered an easy life in that respect. Then in school, I had one very difficult year of like bullying and girl problems. But other than that, I really didn't have a hard time. It was just that one year that was really bad. And then I had a lot of fun in middle school and also in high school. So I had it very easy there. School came very easy to me. I had the opportunity to go to college. I went on scholarships, and then my parents paid for the rest, and I didn't leave with a ton of student loans. So I was very fortunate in that manner. I have a loving husband. We have a great relationship, no drama there. So no like hidden relationship drama or anything like that. We have 2 beautiful children, but I will say that it's the only like true hardship that I think I've faced in my life is infertility. We tried for a year to get pregnant without any success before we really started to worry. Then the big thing happened with my cyst, going to the ER. We found out that I had endometriosis. I had a very difficult, intense surgery to remove the endometriosis and my right ovary and fallopian tube. That was just a really hard surgery, a very long recovery. And then as soon as I was out of recovery, we had to start fertility treatments. So going through IUIs and IVF and all of that, trying to get pregnant and worrying that I never would, when all I've ever wanted to do was be a stay-at-home mom, that was a big hardship. And so if there was ever one hard time in my life, it would have been that. But my children are here and they are healthy. I'm so fortunate. And so, there's just nothing I can say other than like, yes, I have had a pretty easy life, but I don't take it for granted in any way. All of those things. I have a wonderful family. I have wonderful in-laws. We have a great relationship. Those are things that I do not take for granted that are easy in my life. I really, really try to focus on the things that I have and appreciate them, because I know that in so many ways I do have it easy, and I don't ever want to take those for granted, because someday something is going to happen. Something really, really hard and tragic, and I'm going to have big losses in my life in the future. Like, it's coming. The day is coming. And I just put my faith in God that He's going to be there with me through that. And I'm going to look at all the things that I do have. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional, because sometimes I worry. Sometimes I worry that my life is so easy. And like, it's a mindset of, when is the other shoe going to drop? And I know that's no way to live. Like, I should live in the moment, not worrying about the future. God holds the future. He knows my life and what is going to happen. And I know He's going to be there for me no matter what happens. But it's hard for things not to just creep into your mind and think, well, what's coming up? My life has just gone along so smoothly up until this point. What is going to happen in the future? But that's no way to live, and I need to enjoy and be grateful for the things I have now and the way that things are going, and just have faith in Jesus that he knows what's going to happen. He holds my life in his hands and he's in charge. The very last assumption, and I have got to go, is your husband makes really good money based on how much stuff you buy at Sephora. This was funny because I read this to Greg when it came in, and he said, Sephora? Think of like 3 other stores that you shop at way more than Sephora, which was funny. I really don't know what this person wants me to say, like how to respond to that. My husband makes good money. He is able to support our family and to support the lifestyle that we live. We're able to have little luxuries. We're able to have our hobbies. He has a hobby of fishing. I have a hobby of shopping. But other than that, I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm not going to give you like a number on what he makes, but he makes good enough money to support our lifestyle without being in debt. I will say that about it. We do not live in debt. I do not have like a secret credit card that I shop on that he knows nothing about. It's just like piling up. There's nothing like that. Like, we pay off our credit card every single month in full. When I have to pay any type of interest, I get so upset. Like, I hate it. It's only happened a few times, but I am not about that. I want basically a free credit card. I just want to get the miles and get the points and use the credit card for that. So he works really, really hard. He doesn't make really good money. I would consider that to be like doctors and things like that. He makes nowhere near that amount of money, but he just has a really good job and he makes decent money to cover the way we live. So that is that. All right, that is all of the assumptions. Thank y'all so much for sending those in. That was really fun to do. I hope that this gave you a little bit more insight into my life, because I know me and I know my heart, and I hope that that comes across to you even through the camera. So hopefully you got a little bit more insight into my life and got your assumptions answered if you sent them in. Thank you for those that did. I ask questions on Insta stories a lot, so if you're not following me over on Instagram, be sure and do that, because that's where I like gather my questions and bounce my ideas off of y'all over on Insta stories. So thank y'all for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.